Right, that's who I am, and that's what I'm going to talk about. I've been working on this sort of stuff for 20 years. I think it's one of the greatest scientific adventures we have at the moment, search for life outside the Earth, and I've probably got another 20 years of doing it, and I doubt whether we'll have solved it, but we may have made some progress. But the youngest amongst you may have 80 more years of life, and I think you'll have a front row seat for mankind's big adventure, and perhaps even some answers. If we're not alone, that means we are the only intelligence in the universe. If we destroy ourselves, that's the end of, well, the point of the universe. But on the other hand, if we don't destroy ourselves, we'll spread out through the galaxy and we'll start the civilization of the universe. Fantastic. But if we're not alone, if there are intelligent beings out there, it can either be great because we'll find lots of new friends, or it can be rather bad because we'll find lots of new enemies. So, do we know anything? No, we don't know anything. This is one of the fields where we have no idea. Yeah, we don't know it at all, but we are looking. So if anybody says, well, life is pretty common, isn't it? Because we're common, and there are lots of planets, so there must be life out there. It doesn't work like that. Life, intelligence might be incredibly rare and only happen once per universe. So, but the only way to solve this is either to work out a theory of life or to have a look. So, we talk about simple life, bacteria, the sort of stuff that was around on the Earth for 2 billion years before anything happened. We do not know how life starts, so we don't know how common it is. This is a plot of how you might get from, on the top left-hand side, simple molecules in space, and then if you want to get down to cells, you have to go through this complicated procedure, and nobody knows how you do this. We can't do it in the lab, and there's no natural process that will do it. So we don't know how common it is. But we are looking. The early Mars seemed to be a nice warm place. If there was life common, it would be there. It won't be then on the surface now because it's dried out, but it might be below the surface. So there's a long-term European and American and Chinese and Russian projects to drill down and look for bacteria under the surface where it could well be. So if we find it on Mars, and it's not like us, it could be blasted off the Earth and traveled to Mars, in which case it would be just like us, it wouldn't tell us anything. But if it's different from us, it means that life is common. And supposing in 20 years' time we find bacteria on Mars, it's not going to change our lives. If I told you there was bacteria on Mars, you wouldn't go out and riot in the streets, would you? But there'll be a long-term cultural shift. We know it'll make us think about the future of our human race and think about it as one human race, in the same way as the picture of the Earth taken from space made people realize that they're all in this together. Okay, that's simple life, bacteria. As I said, the stuff that was around for 2.5 billion years, starting from when the Earth was just after the Earth was formed until recently. But obviously the big thing when you talk about ET and aliens is intelligent life. Again, we don't know. We've got no clues about intelligence, so what can we do about theory? Well, there isn't any theory. Once you get bacteria, do you get us? And bacteria came on Earth 3 billion years ago. Animals came on Earth 500 million years, so it was 2.5 billion years when there was nothing but bacteria, and then 500 million years of plants and simple life. A long way to go. So let's show you how evolution has happened. Now down the bottom you've got the original bacteria, and this is the tree of life. You can date what times the various bacteria evolved. So some of them went into one type of bacteria, another of them went on to another type of bacteria, and some of them went on to fungi, mosses, stuff like that. The most common life by mass on Earth is mushrooms and moss. But right up here at the top, you've got animals. And then, of course, once you've got animals, 500 million years ago, you didn't get us, you got all these different things. Some of them are still around, birds, worms, and sort of things like rabbits. And if you think about rabbits, they evolved into ape-like beings, hominids. So most of them went into chimpanzees and lemurs. But right here, about 6 million years ago, they started making hominids, not humans. 6 million, 5 million, Homo erectus, some dead ends, Neanderthals, and us. So we came about 300,000 years ago. And then for 270,000 years, nothing happened. And then 30,000 years ago, we started art, we started civilization. And a few hundred years ago, we started technology. So the step from simple life to intelligence, like us, a civilization, seems incredibly long-winded and chancy. Some people say, actually, no, that's not the way it works, as life was pushing the whole time and there were barriers, but you always get intelligence. But we don't know. But again, they're working on a theory. People work on the theory of evolution. But the sort of thing I'm doing is you're looking for intelligent life. If they're like us, they have TV stations, they have radars. So if you point a big radio telescope at a nearby star and you pick up the nightly news from their TV, you'll know they're there. Of course, that might take a long time. By far the quickest way is if they come to us tomorrow. If they land tomorrow, we'll know the answer. We'll know, A, intelligent life is common, because we're in an out-of-the-way star and edge of the galaxy, and of course we'll know that life started easily. Unfortunately, so far they haven't landed, and nobody's been abducted. So unfortunately, it might be tomorrow, or they might come in a million years. That's why we're not just sitting back and waiting. That's why we're building the radio telescopes to do astronomy mainly, but also to look for the intelligent life. So it's like a lot of things. You shouldn't guess. You shouldn't say, I wish it was out there. You should do the experiment. You should go and look. And that's why it's a great scientific adventure, because we're going to, if not find it, at least find out that it's not there. And if, as a true scientific experiment, if you knew what the answer was, you wouldn't be doing it. So we don't know the answer is, but it's a great adventure. So what would happen next? You've heard a couple of talks on the various things that could happen. Then, if we discover bacteria on Mars, then again, I don't think it would be a big deal. It'd be very interesting, and it will certainly pump up the funding I get. But so people, some religions get upset about this sort of thing. However, if we, in our radio telescopes, if we pick up a message, that's different. If we just get a signal, I mean, it might just be a signal saying we're here, like a series of prime numbers, that will just tell us there's an intelligent life out there, but it won't tell us very much more. A lot of speculation, but probably not a lot of excitement. But if there's a message, or even more if there's a visit, then it depends upon what they say. You've got to remember, they'll be 1 billion years more advanced than us. So for them it'd be like us talking to an ant. Now we can talk to an ant, just lay a trail of sugar and the ant will go, and the ant you'll talk to the ants, but the ant won't really understand what's going on. So we'll get this message, and it might give us a cure for cancer, or it might give us a virus that kills us all. But we have to realize that the true communication is way above our heads. Thank you.